How to get rich? This is the only question in the world that doesn't have any straight answers. A lot of people tell you about how to build wealth, but nobody really shows you how to do it. In this video, I want to take you on a very pragmatical view of wealth building by first introducing you to three main points and transition in history of the world for you to learn how to view society as it is and how you can build wealth in any given society. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chris Kobe, and on this channel I talk about individual growth and also society as its whole. So the reason why I do this is because personally I'm interested in wealth building, and one of the greatest things I face as a challenge is understanding how wealth is built. And on the internet you see tons of people telling you how to build wealth, but nobody really shows you how it is done. So I've embarked on myself on the journey on learning how wealth is actually built. Now, when people ask how to get rich, they are not probably asking about how to make money, because everybody already knows how to make money. To make money, you just need to work, and to work, you get paid for working. But why do people ask how to get rich if they're already making money, and if making money is what makes you rich? Then they are not asking about how making money, they are asking about how make money, a lot of money by the way, and work very less or not at all. And why do they want that? And why don't they even ask the right question, and instead they just ask a question that nobody really gives a direct answers to? Well, to understand it, I've already mentioned that we elaborate three main points in society and in history to truly understand this and see it as how it is. So let's first start from the very first beginning of society and history. The first main point is the beginning of everything. You see, society started at a point. We started from the very first individual. You can call them Adam or Eve, or the very first chimpanzee that transformed into a human being that we are currently are as the Homo sapiens. So no matter how view you have for it, maybe scientifically you want to see through that lens, or you want to see it through the religious lens, it doesn't matter, but everything starts from a point. This means society has started from a very specific point. We have first to understand how wealth was built at that time and how the transition of wealth has shaped around history. The very first people that we know of, whether you look at it religiously or scientifically, are people that were hunter-gatherer. That means they didn't own any wealth. What they did instead was that they were moving from place to place. They were hunting animals and they were gathering fruits, and they were surviving based on nomadic lifestyle. They were just wandering around the world and going from place to places, surviving on that basic instinct of the survival needs. This means as they progress, something changed. We are not living that lifestyle anymore. You and I, we have a house, we have a fixed address, and we can, locate you at any time that we want. This means something has changed from that period to this period. And what has changed first was the lifestyle that people were living, transitioning into agriculture. People discovered agriculture, and that's called the agricultural revolution. Agricultural revolution was actually one of the most important transition in history. Well, before that we did have other kind of transition and revolution, like the cognitive revolution, which is the ability of people to talk and to create a language, but that was not as important as agriculture. Of course, it was important. It allowed people to form, to gather together and form a bigger group. But the agricultural revolution transformed everything. Agricultural revolution allows people to actually not having to move from place to place, and therefore they started building states, and they started building cities, and they started building villages. Hear me out and follow the point. That first step transforms society and the life of people radically, and they will never be able to go back on that transition. Now, at the age of the agricultural revolution, again, everybody owned their farm. But I will also have to remind you, by the time that society was just a hunter-gatherer, the way people used to move was just in barns. You have your own barns, you have your family, and you move from place to place with your family. This means we were not just as a big society as you can have a city of millions of inhabitants right now, but it was just like a very normal bands of people, 5 to 10, or perhaps maximum 50 people in a barn. And people were just moving in tribal. And that's still in some modern tribalistic region in the world right now, but it's not as if it's as it was thousands of years ago. So as people build cities around the agriculture and farming, they were able to actually form very central society. And ladies and gentlemen, that was a really critical point in society and in the life of people. Now, something happened here. By the transition of society, you have to understand that agriculture is something that you have to actually put your effort in. You have to work the land, and you have to actually work a lot to be able to produce the farm, the farm products, and to feed your family. And you must also understand that efforts of people are not equal. People are not working equally. Some people do work more than others, and some people don't work at all. Or some people might work and might not get any result of their farming products, or there might be some natural disaster that happen that destroy the whole culture in that moment. And even they have established a very if they have established a society, they don't have therefore anything if a certain kind of natural disaster happened to them. What did they have to do? They have to go from their place and have to thief from someone else, steal from someone else, or conquer someone else. This means the other people have to protect themselves. They have to form a society to protect themselves. This means they have to have someone that is ahead of the clan to protect and make decision when those kind of situation happens. You see, during the agricultural revolution, people started to have different role, and that's one of the most different. That's one of the next most significant transition from the earlier agricultural revolution. This means some people became leaders of clans, and some people have different roles. Now, if you are the leader of the clan, your role is different. You are not supposed to work on the farm anymore. You are not just supposed to be on the farm and doing the normal work and the normal job like the average person has to do. Your job is different, and the thing that you have to do are now different. You are expected to work by thinking and not in the farm. So you see, people start being different. And now I want you to imagine something and how critical this is for the next society to come. The people that were on top and in charge of society were the people that don't have to work. But if at that time there was no money, how do they survive? They have to be in a place, and people have to work and give them tributes. That's how tax was born. Tax was just a contribution to the leader of the clan that helped him to survive, and then in return he provides safety for the whole community and society. This system is what transformed how wealth is built and how people get rich. Through our history, to this point, there was no definition of rich, there was no definition of wealth, because you cannot measure any sort of definition of rich or wealth if everybody just have to survive and eat whatever they need. Nobody has to produce more than what they needed, right? So everybody was just producing whatever they need to survive. And here you see, if for instance we have 500 people in a society or in a village, and each of them produce let's say 10 kilogram of rice per month, and they have to give a task of 1 kilogram of rice to the king or the leader of the clan, how much kilogram does the king get at the end of the month? Supposedly 500. So he doesn't work. Of course he is working, but his work is different. He's not working on the farm. He doesn't work, and he has at the end of the month 500 kilograms of quantity of rice, while the other people have less than 10 kilograms each of them. This means combinedly he amassed more rich than the whole community themselves. But that was not a problem, because it was not a wealth to oppress the people. After all, it was for him to protect them and to use that as also a reserve for in a case of a tragical moment happening. So it was a fair situation for them. It was a win-win. Now, imagine you are that king and you have a son. Well, your son might not need to work as well. Your son, if you die, probably your son gonna inherit the role of that kind of leadership as well. Therefore, the wealth you have accumulated by the time transform into a wealth for your family, a rich for your family. And also, you can also use those kind of wealth to actually buy businesses and create businesses in that community. And that's what was happening, and that's how things started changing. But at the end, that was not the intention that led people to create the system that they start living in, but it was the natural disaster and the condition that they were facing. That was the cause of them setting up a society in which they have to be ruled by certain people. And also in this modern society as well, it is the same thing. Nothing has changed. We just live in a different age with millions of people governed by an individual as well. So you see, as this has passed and people getting more, the leaders getting more richer, of course, some people, everybody, all the people are not dumb. Some people are intelligent and smart. So they know this, and they will be like, okay, no, we don't want this anymore. We want this to stop. And obviously, they will try to change the leader. But of course, they still need a leader, because in a condition of a very tragic moment, we need someone to make the decision. So what do? They replace the leader with someone else that does exactly the same thing to them. So why do people actually looking for making asking the question of how to get rich, as I started with from this video? Well, because from the very early society, from early stage of society, we've noticed that, well, there are people that are not working as hard as all they are working, but have the most money than how they have money. So it occurred to people that there was a magic trick, and that magic trick is not working hard and working less and making the most amount of money. So whenever people are asking the question of how to get rich, they are not asking of how making money. They want that magic trick. And now this again also give opportunity to different people to become rich, which are called the new gurus of the modern age, or even that stage they were in. How do those gurus get rich? Well, imagine a society in which people are oppressed. They don't have any money. They have some money, but the wealth that they built by themselves, the real wealth, that was the wealth that were producing, that was produced from agriculture products, was also extracted by tax and by every kind of system that was inputted in place, and then they were left by nothing. Those kind of people were oppressed, and there are other people that are the guru that want to help those people get the magic trick, and therefore they ask the guru, how do we get rich? Well, he knows the solution. He wants to teach them the solution. And in fact, because they believed in this existence of the solution, they also make the guru get rich. And by the end of the day, the people don't get rich, the guru get rich. That's how it happens. And by the next people coming and see the guru get rich by teaching how to get rich, people believe in it. People believe in that system again. It's reinforced more and more, and at the end of the day, there are few individuals that are extremely rich, and there are the rest of them that are poor or just normal average people, and who are, by the way, the hardworking people. In fact, when we say people are poor, it doesn't mean that they are not working, or it doesn't mean that they are lazy. It is just that the system is not established to make everybody rich. So this is the first principle we have to understand. The first basic of society, that is that the structure of society is not constructed to make everybody rich. It is not constructed to make everybody leaders. It's not constructed to make everybody kings. So when everybody is looking for working and getting rich, and we are working and or working just less, then ask yourself, who is going to produce the agricultural product that we need as a society to consume? Well, there is somebody that has to do that. Who is going to be the plumber? Who has to do the other type of work? There is someone that has to do that. So the third point that is really important in society, that shape the transformation of society for really good, is actually the industrial revolution. Well, agricultural revolution was really important, but the industrial revolution has also changed everything forever. Now, what's happened? The work that a lot of people has to do, at least they get employments from. For the very early stage of agriculture, everybody had their farm, but at the age of the industrial revolution, everybody, the farm owners has to leave their farm to the industrialists, the capitalists. Now, how do the capitalists get the money? Well, because they amassed the wealth before from the system that I just described to you earlier, and by the farmer not having the system money to produce more to have to own any land, what do? They lose their land, and they have to work in the on the land of the capitalists that have the money at the time to invest in the machinery and to invest in the biggest factory to produce the wealth in the industrial revolution. Well, that is not fair. Of course, it is not fair, but it is how it is, and it is a reality. And I'm not here to satisfy about that. We are just talking about how the society is constructed here. Now, it is still possible to be rich after all. Of course, there are people that are still getting rich from nothing at all, and they're still getting rich. And there is a way to do it, and there is a very tiny escape. And that tiny escape is what I am to talk about this channel. And if you like what I'm talking about, and you think there is a reasoning and coherence in what I'm talking about, hit the subscribe button and like this video, and send to a friend or that you think might like this video and might have something really deep understanding from this video. And this is how we grow as a society, and this is how we grow the channel as well. So I hope you share the video with someone you like. Now, we must first need to understand the very first principle and basic foundation of society, because you see, we live in a society that is constructed based on many type of layers of foundation. We have first different kind of revolution that shape the way society is evolving. Now, we have industrial revolution that happened, and the people that benefited the most from that revolution were the people that had capital and had the knowledge on using that capital correctly. Now, we also have the AI revolution, which is just the artificial revolution. Well, who are those kind of people benefit from this? Well, everybody can benefit of it as well, but there is a way to do it. If you first need to understand how society is shaped and who are the people that can benefit from each kind of revolution, and how and what knowledge you should get in order to maximize your chance at getting profitable or even rich at whatever you want to do in that kind of society. Now, at this point, I understand a lot of people might get sensitive and angry and discouraged by it. Just no, but you have to first understand it, and when you understand it, you cannot be discouraged. You just have to accept the fact that it is, and then prepare yourself significantly to actually do it now, because Why can you still believe you can get rich after understanding that society is not built, and in fact there is a gatekeeping? Because if you are the king and you have actually amassed all the wealth, then you must gatekeep. You cannot allow everybody to just have the wealth and compete with you, because your position is risky, and the position of your children is risky as well. So you must establish system that limits people into building wealth as well. So this is realistic, and if you were in that position, you will also do the same. But because you are in that position, it is easier to critique and say, no, it is bad, it is evil, it is da da da. Well, we understand it. This is reality. It is not fair. It's not good. But this is how it is. But if you also were in that position, you will have the same incentives as they have to do whatever they do. Because you must first understand that they didn't plan it that way. The natural condition that we were living in pushed people naturally into that position, which means there is something even more powerful than each individual, even the kings, or even the leaders that shapes the course of history, which also means there is a very tiny percentage of people that, no matter how the gatekeeping is happening, can actually also evolve around the wealth building path. And these tiny people of people are people like you, are people like me, that can accept the facts, that can actually face the true the different type of controversy without any kind of emotional attachment to them, and see the reality as it is. And by understanding the reality as it is and facing the reality, you can then prepare yourself in walking into the very specific way that allow you to walk through that very tiny escape that is always preached there by the universe, and that is always there by definition of any kind of society or any kind of system that is built to keep people in a certain kind of condition. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to be frank with you. I know life is tough. There are people that don't have any money at all, that don't have anything to eat, and there are a ton of people in the world that, in fact, that don't have any access to internet connection to even look at and watch this video. And those kind of people are also in my country. They might be in your country. It might not be, might be your relative, might be people that you know, and those people are suffering. So how do you think we can tell those people to get rich if the first basic condition are not compliant? So you are lucky, we are lucky to be in this position to actually have access to the kind of information that we can share and discuss here. Of course, everything I say might not be accurate to you, but you have to critically think about it and analyze how society is functions, how society is structured, and how you as an individual, you can place yourself in building wealth. Now, there is two paths here that is that is my main focus on building this channel and exploring knowledge across different fields, in specifically constructing the path of escaping in society. I mean, the path of getting rich in a society. We have evidently seen that the way society is built to get rich, either you are lucky to be born as the child of the leader, or you are not. You have no chance of becoming rich. Which means, if the leader has amassed so many amount of wealth, he also needs many different people to manage that wealth with him. That also leads to different kind of creation of sectors. We feel the financial sector. The financial sector actually is not even a sector that is actually a direct wealth building, a productive sector. It is an abstract sector. It is not connected directly to the production of goods. But of course, its role is actually important in managing the money. But whose money do they manage? That's the question. Now, the leaders or the king need people that are smart, because the king is not the smartest person in the world, or the leader is not the smartest person in the country. He just happened to be king, and he just happened to be who he is, right? But there are definitely different kind of qualities to them, and there are definitely different kind of quality they have that place them in that position. And now they also need people that are very smart and different in different category of society that help them manage the society. That means those people as well themselves get the chance to become rich. This means if you are one of those people that are really smart in that country or society that you are, then the king might need you to build wealth. But again, society is a very open society. We live in a democratic world. Of course, if you have to live in a very democratic country, a fair, free, open markets, well, you don't need definitely to work directly for the king. You can open a business if you are really smart and serve the people. But then again, how do you serve the people? Those are kind of studies that we are going to discuss on this channel by elaborating different kind of field from knowledge, different field of knowledge, from economics, from philosophy, from psychology, from everything that I judge important in understanding how wealth is built in society at a society level and also on individual level. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to keep this video longer, but on this channel, definitely you will hear me discussing about these things that I mentioned earlier, and also we will explore them in a very different ways, in different manner, because I myself am on the path of seeking knowledge, and also I'm really interested in them, and I do them because I'm really interested in them, and I don't necessarily do them for the views. Of course, I will love if you watch my video and share it with your friend and subscribe to my channel, but I'm personally interested in this, and I hope you join the community, and I hope you enjoy these videos, and I hope you share with your friends. And by far, I haven't taught you how to become rich directly, but I hope that you've actually understood how society is built and how wealth is built, and how a role of as an individual you can play in that wealth building system, and how you can place yourself as well in serving a system that also already has money, or set up a system that you can build that can actually generate money to serve people. Because after all, if you live in a free market, you have a chance of setting a sort of system by yourself, just imitating the actual kingdom system that has already been set in place, also building your wealth. And that requires a lot of work, that requires a lot of intelligence, that requires of hard work. Now, there are different elements of that I want to discuss, but I cannot discuss all of those in this video for the fear of not keeping this longer. But this channel is built specifically for that, and we are going to discuss every element, components available on understanding this. And I hope you are not deceived by the title of this video. Of course, you've seen it, people are telling you how to be rich and giving you some kind of fancy theories that doesn't serve, and you perhaps don't have money to open a business, but you need to understand how this works, and being pragmatic about it, you can be motivated by the reality to actually become rich and serve your family and help your family out. So I hope this helps. Bye bye.